Hi everyone, welcome to day 13 of reading Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library. I am Rachel McGinnis. I am the BOCES teacher for the team program at Grimshaw Elementary, and I will be reading chapters 32, 33, and 34 for you. Okay, Sierra, said Kyle, your turn. Sierra flicked the spinner. The pointy tip ended up in the yellow 200 zone, so she went ahead and pulled a yellow card. It's definitely for the 200 section, she said, showing her clue to Miguel before revealing it to Kyle and Akimi. Weird, said Miguel. What? Said Akimi before Kyle could. Well, the 200s are where they keep books on world religions. But there are 2 numbers on this card, said Sierra. Maybe this time we need to find 2 books, suggested Kyle. I don't know, said Sierra, studying her card. 220.5203. It's obviously a call number. Obviously, said Akimi, but this other number isn't in the proper format. 2/2015. February 20th, 2015, said Kyle, because it hasn't happened yet. Oh, right, okay. How about February 20th, 1915? That was the opening day of the Panama Pacific International Exposition in San Francisco, said Sierra. Jaws dropped. Sorry, I'm a big World's Fair fan. Everybody else just nodded. Finally, Miguel spoke up. Look, let's just go down to the 200s room and find 220.5203. We can figure out the second chunk later. The team once again trooped down to the second floor and worked their way across the circular balcony. You guys, said Sierra, looking across the atrium at the statues, remember how they switched all the hologram authors when Bridget Wage did her extreme challenge? Yep, said Kyle. She was doing good till she got to the Russian dude. What Russian dude? Asked Miguel, who hadn't witnessed Bridget's elimination. Guy who wrote 5 or 6 books. Sierra could tell you about. But look, said Sierra, now all the author statues are the same ones they were last night. So, said Kyle thoughtfully, if they can switch them around... This must be clues for our game, blurted Akimi. She pulled out a pen and her notepad. I'll write down their names. Start with the guy under the 000's wedge of the Wonder Dome, suggested Kyle. Right. Akimi read the labeled pedestals and jotted down all the authors' names. Thomas Wolfe, Booker T. Washington, Stephen Sondheim, George Orwell, Lewis Carroll, Dr. Seuss, Maya Angelou, Shel Silverstein, Pseudonymous Bosch, Todd Strasser. So, said Akimi when she'd finished writing, do you think this game could get any more complicated? Maybe, said Kyle. It's possible that Mr. Lemoncello left a couple different paths to the same solution. Well, personally, I can only take one path at a time, said Akimi. So let's go find 220 point whatever. Should be in the next row bookcases, said Miguel. Here we go. 220.5203, the King James Bible. Och, der Liebe, an excellent choice, said a man with a thick German accent. The 4 teammates spun around and were face to face with a semi-transparent guy in medieval garb with a fur-trimmed cap and a beard that looked like 2 raccoon tails sewn together under his nose and chin. I am Johannes Gainsflesch zur Laden zum Gutenberg, said the holographic image, who had ink stains all over his fingertips. You created the Gutenberg Bibles on your printing press, gushed Sierra. Yeah, big seller. You need help with their Bible? I am at your service, he bowed. Okay, said Akimi, turning to Miguel. Take it away, Miguel. Herr Gutenberg, sir, we're looking for 2/2015. Das ist einfach. Huh? That is easy. 2/2015 is Exodus chapter 20, verse 15. Of course, said Miguel. Exodus is the second book of the Bible. 20 and 15 are the chapter and verse. He flipped through some pages. Here we go. Exodus chapter 20, verse 15. It's one of the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not steal. Let's put the 2 new cards on the table, said Charles. He and his so-called teammates, Andrew and Haley, Charles planned on dumping them both right before he made his glorious solo exit from the library, had scoured the library together for hours looking for more book cover matches. Peckelman wasn't nearly as good with the Dewey Decimal System as he had claimed to be, and Charles needed someone to do that sort of thing for him. His father always hired tutors or research assistants for him whenever Charles had to do a major paper or report. Finally, around 6 in, coincidentally, the 600s room, they scored twice, finding T for You and Me, 641.3372, and Why Wait to Lose Weight, 613.2522. Now, their picture puzzle only had 4 blanks remaining. Okay, said Andrew. I think it's pretty clear. Woolly blank, walk up the skinny blank blank, house Indian and 19 blank. Charles nodded and said, interesting, even though he knew Peckelman was way off. Hello, said Haley. That doesn't make any sense. Sure it does, says Andrew. No it doesn't. In his head, Charles had decided the clues so far as you, a female sheep, blank, walk out the THE way, blank blank in past blank. But out loud, he said, I think we just need to tweak Andrew's translation a little. Fine, go ahead. I don't care. Andrew slumped down in his seat to sulk. How about she blank walks out the skinny blank blank house 500 and past blank. Where'd you get she? Asked Haley. From sheep, the card you gave us. Actually, I think the sheep is supposed to represent you because a ewe is a female sheep. Fascinating, said Charles. I didn't figure that out. What he did figure out was that Haley Daly was much smarter than he had assumed. She could be a serious threat. In no way was Charles sharing his prize with anybody, especially her. And how did you get 500 from Indiana, she asked. Simple. Indianapolis, the capital of Indiana, is home to a race known as the Indy 500. Okay, so how about you blank walk out the skinny blank blank in because the Nancy Drew book was about an in 500 pass or past blank. Now Peckelman piped up. That makes more sense than what you said, Charles. Indeed, said Charles, sounding magnanimous. Perhaps the clues are telling us to locate a secret skinny passageway 500 paces past some landmark here in the library. Andrew was excited. This is like the pirate map from Treasure Island. Or, said Haley, maybe these clues are telling us we need to go out and find the 4 books we haven't found yet. We should split up. I'll go back to the 400s room. We've already been there, said Andrew. Well, you guys might have missed something. Good idea, said Charles. He figured if Haley Daly wasted time retracing steps he and Andrew had already taken, she would find nothing new and become less of a threat. Let's meet back here at, say, 7. Fine. Haley left the meeting room. Charles went to the door and closed it. You know what we really need, he said to Andrew. Chocolate milk and maybe some cookies? Charles shook his head. No, Andrew. We need whatever clues Kyle Keeley and his team have found, especially if they have our missing cards. Veering left the instant she reached the 2nd floor, Haley made her way toward the 400s room. She figured that Charles and Andrew had probably missed something important in the foreign languages room because they spent too much time talking to these awesome mannequins and told them all about their American heritage. As she rounded the bend, Haley saw Kyle Keeley and his crew tumble out of the 200s room. It looked like Miguel was carrying a Bible. But a Bible wasn't one of the books on display in the staff's pick case. We're following separate paths to the same goal, Haley thought, and somewhere, those 2 paths are going to collide. Haley slid her car key down the reader slot in the 400's door. The lock clicked and she pushed the door open. The room was dimly lit. Bienvenida! Bienvenue! Vidame! Kuwakarashiba! Welcome! Boomed a voice from the ceiling speakers. Sorry, said Haley, blindly feeling her way forward and bumping into something hard and lumpy. This is the 400's room, home of foreign languages. Here, Haley, you can learn all about your American heritage. A bank of spotlights thumped on. Haley was basically hugging a department store mannequin. An overhead projector beamed a movie onto the dummy to her left, turning it into a perky woman who looked like Haley would probably look a couple of years after she graduated from college. Hello, Haley. Welcome to your American heritage. Let's begin your voyage. That's okay. I don't have time right now. I'm Haley Daly. My ancestors were Irish, okay? So we can skip the history lesson and... Suddenly, the two mannequins at the far end of the row turned into sepia-toned versions of her great-great-great-grandmother and great-great-great-grandfather. Haley knew it was them because her dad had a bunch of old photos hanging in their family room. The two dummies looked exactly like Patrick and Una Daly did in their wedding portrait. No man ever wore a scarf as warm as his daughter's arm around his neck, said Patrick in his thick Irish brogue. Your dad's proud of you, Haley. Thanks, but I really need to win this competition. Watch out for the sneaking rascals, said Una. Them that would steal the sugar out of your punch. Haley had to smile. It sounded like her ancestor had met Charles Chiltington. And always remember, Haley, said her great-great-grandfather. Every woman's mind is her kingdom. Rule it wisely, lassie. I'm trying. This library can help, said her great-grandparents with a wink. But when she did, a secret panel in the wall slid open. What's going on? Said Haley. You're our third visitor, boomed the jolly announcer in the ceiling. So? According to the American Heritage Dictionary of Idioms, available in our reference department, by the way, the third time is a charm. Therefore, as our third visitor, you have won this charming bonus. 2 bonuses in one day? She was right. Mr. Lemoncello definitely wanted Haley Daly to win this game, because clearly he knew she'd be the perfect, best-looking spokesmodel for his holiday commercials. Don't worry, sir, Haley said to the nearest TV camera. I won't let you down. She hurried through the open wall panel and into the 300's room on the other side. Ta-da! The first thing she saw was one of the books they'd been searching for all day long. True Crime, Ohio, the Buckeye State's most notorious brigands, burglars, and bandits, by Claire Taylor Winters. She quickly opened the cover and found the hidden 4x4 card. It took her 2 seconds to decipher the clue. Bandits. Haley remembered another bit of Irish wisdom, something her dad said all the time. Never bolt your door with a boiled carrot. She decided to keep this new clue secret and secure. She wouldn't share it with Charles or Andrew. Haley took off her left sneaker, folded the card in half, and slid the clue into her shoe for safekeeping. When her sneak was laced up tight again, she took the True Crime Ohio book off its display stand and tucked it into the bookshelf, making sure it was in the proper position, right between 364.1091 and 364.1093. That way, she'd know where to find it if, for whatever reason, she needed the book again. Haley looked up at the nearest camera and flashed at her brightest toothpaste commercial smile. Go, Lemoncello! That's a cheer I just made up. We can use it in one of the commercials. After I win.